Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I think it's like episode 4 of this rebuild on this Model 3 here. So as you can see, everything's coming together. I was mocking up the bumper. I was going to do the panel gaps myself, but it just kind of proved to be too difficult. So my paint guy said he'll do it for an extra $200, which I was like, and he makes them look perfect. So I was like, you know what, just have him do it. So this front end's coming together. I finally got a new headlight. You may have saw my YouTube short on the install. It's a pretty easy install, just 2 little bolts. But here's the new problem. Whenever I try to charge the car, I open it with my mobile connector, and I can verify this mobile connector is completely fine. I'm gonna plug it in here. Do you hear it? The latch isn't engaging properly. So what I did is I went out and bought a new latch, but that didn't solve the issue. When the car is charging, I get this error. Charge port not latched, fully insert, or check for obstructions. I checked for obstructions and there was no issues at all. I contacted my friend who's a former Tesla technician, and he recommended replacing this high voltage wire. And it's a lot easier than you may think. At first I was a little bit scared away from it, but it's actually only a couple bolts and a couple clips. And then it goes to this charger at the rear. This is what they call the charge port inlet. I went ahead and just decided to buy an entire new charge port inlet cable. So here it is right here. Looks like a snake. Here it is. I gave up on unwrapping it. Let's go ahead and see what we need to do to uninstall the other one. It's pretty simple actually. I've been reading and, trying to understand the service manuals. And pretty much you gotta do these 2 bolts here and then this connector here underneath the seat. There's a couple more bolts down here, and then the charge port inlet, I'm gonna unplug actually. I actually have dealt with the charge port inlet a lot, and removing it is 3 10mm bolts up in there, and then 1 to ground, and it's just a bunch of clips. So let's get started on that. The first thing you always wanna do before powering up the car is slide the seat forward. It makes all the difference. I'm gonna disconnect the 12-volt system. The car's still gonna be on, but it's just gonna start freaking out. So we're gonna run over here. You could probably hear it. And then you're gonna go ahead and undo this right here. Listen to this. Kunk. That's the contactors closing. And then I always set this down with this on top so the thing shorts. Fortune cookie. Say whatever you want, but I got that entire thing out in about 10 minutes. So easy to take this thing out. So let's get this new one prepped and ready for installing. right, guys, let's just double check everything here. I got both plugs over here plugged in. This is plugged in. I have my grounding bolt plugged in. This is in. These clips are in. This is actually a pretty easy thing to do. This is in. These 2 bolts for the low voltage harness are in. This clip is in. We're good here. We're good here. And that bolt is in. Last but not least, we gotta check our connection here. So I'm gonna undo it. It's a really satisfying plug to do. Pop it up. Okay, we're good there. And we'll set this back down in, lock it, and let's start this thing up. And I expect there to be an issue once I start this up. I need to do a software reinstall. Okay, contactor's closed. It's a good sign. Everything looks good in here. Let's go ahead and pop this. Okay. Oh boy. That didn't fix the issue. Dang it. We have a bigger issue on our hands here. So that didn't fix our issue, but I'm not giving up quite yet. Let's hop in the car and we're gonna go into service mode and we're gonna reinstall our software. Let's see what it does. Okay, so the update has started. I'm hoping this fixes our issue. Good thing I kept this box just in case we need to send that back and get our money back, but so yeah, I'm not really sure. This is the old one. That means that if that doesn't do anything, that this one's just completely fine. But we'll wait and see. I plugged in the headlights because in order to do a software update, you have to have the headlights plugged in. But we'll come back here in a little bit. All right. Fingers crossed. Dang it. This is so stupid. My mobile connector works on my car. On this car here. Maybe I should try a different charger. Okay, let's see. Oh, I always forgot. The little pad in here is missing. Let's hop in. So let's see if it's my mobile connector. Are you serious right now? Oh my gosh. It was my mobile connector this entire time. Look at this, no problem. Look at that. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? 30 amps. My gosh darn mobile connector. I'm happy and angry at the same time. Wow, okay. This is awesome. But I did all this work. All this work for literally nothing. But still, at least we know that. Let's do some more trial and error here. Let's go ahead and stop charging. Charging. Stop. Unlock. Okay, let's plug it back in. And look at that, working. It's charging. Perfectly fine. So I did all that work for nothing. Oh my goodness. And the problem is, I have to undo everything I did. And you know why? Because I have to return this part. I bought this new one, and I have to pay $25 to ship it back. So I have to undo everything I just did. That's really annoying. But at the end of the day, it saves me $200. Well, $234, but of that stupid shipping. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? If they didn't mark anything on this, like, you know, to say it was their part, it's probably fine. I'm going to swap it out because I'm an honest person. But look at that, no issues. 30 out of 30 amps. No problems at all. Shout out to Jason for letting me use this charger. It's snowing. So I got the old harness installed. That's the new one I bought. So now we have to button this trunk back up. All right, guys, I stayed up till like 1 last night, buttoning everything up under here. You can see the trunk trim is all back in and it looks pretty good. The car's waking up. Still haven't installed the rear seat yet. I have this piece right here. It's in the trunk, I think. Anyway, but you probably can't even see that. Let me get a light on there. This connector right here, they're almost like one-time uses. You have to be super careful. So I need to buy a new one of those. It only lost two little tabs on each side. So I need to buy a new connector, one of those. It pretty much pairs with, where did I put that piece? It pairs with this right here. This clips in and then the two little locking tabs click in. So I need to get a new one of those for over there. I bet you it's like $1 at Tesla service. So we need a new one of those. But now we need to install the window. People are probably asking, why did you take the window out in the first place? Well, long story short, this window had gotten out of spec. This had shifted over and there was a gap right here. And then this, you can see some slight scratching there, was rubbing against that. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll replace the glass, right? Or not replace it, adjust it. So I took the door panel apart and everything was going well. Finally got it where I wanted. I went to tighten down the bolts and boom, it exploded. Like glass everywhere. You can see here, it even shot onto my car next door. So pretty crazy. So luckily I took the glass out of the blue car and put it into the red car because we wanted to be able to drive it. And then I went ahead and bought a new pane of glass. And the cool thing about this pane of glass, it's not OEM, but it only cost me $43 for this. $43 for this piece of glass. So definitely a W. So let's get that installed. All right, I got this new window installed. Look how perfect the gap is. Ready? Perfect all the way around. Like it drops perfect too. Perfect. So we got that installed. The next thing we need to do is we need to plastic weld something. Let me find it. Okay, I see it over here. I bought a new rocker panel off eBay, right? It was like, it's not an OEM one, but it came split in half. They gave me my money back and I was like, well, I should try to save it. So I'm gonna try to plastic weld it back together. So I went out to Harbor Freight and actually bought a plastic welder, $20. You get one use out of it before it breaks. It's a Harbor Freight special. You get actually some good stuff here. You get like actual plastic strips and a wire brush and, oh, some mesh to weld the two together. So I'm gonna weld these two together. The tip for plastic welding is you always want to do it outside because if you do it in an enclosed space, you kind of risk getting plastic fumes into your system, which is not healthy at all and will cause cancer. So do it outside. What you should really have is you should have a fan going, but I'm just gonna risk it. Alright guys, so here's what I did. I actually put little mesh, like metal in there to just support it better, but I'm happy with the way it looks. Looks great on the other side. We'll actually install that in a different video. But thanks so much for watching, you guys. We got a lot done today. Got this installed, figured out our charging system. Next up, I need to figure out what to do with this radar bracket. And actually, the car's going in for paint pretty soon. So in the next video, I'm going to be prepping for paint, which is going to include removing the repeater cameras on both sides, the wipers, which are a lot more difficult than you think. I'm going to install the new hinges that I bought from Tesla service. We'll get those installed. I'm going to take apart both headlights and throw them in the trunk, and then it'll be all ready to go. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.